So I would like to first ask you a question. How would you define spirituality? What does spirituality means to you? How do you feel about it? How do you define spirituality? People experience spirituality in many different ways. Some people see a figure, some people hear voices, some people experience a sense of knowing, like a deep inner knowing that they don't know where it comes from. Others hear a message from God. Other people feel body reactions like chills and goosebumps. Many people report seeing lights or orbs. So we all have experienced it in a way or another. Albeit we experience it differently, that doesn't mean that's wrong, or there is a right way of experiencing spirituality. It just means that it's different, and we all gonna experience it in a different way. It doesn't mean it's wrong. Some people hear the word spirituality and think they need to be religious in order to be considered spiritual. But I came across people as well that believe that because you are religious or follow a religion, you can't be spiritual. And if you do, you are worshipping the devil. But the reality is that many people don't know is that the word religion comes from the Latin word religare, which means to reconnect. Re means again, ligare, to bind again, to reconnect. So whatever faith you have or cultural belief, we all seek to reconnect with the divine light, which basically is the soul essence within us. So either you follow a faith or not, we all seek to reconnect with the truth within, with our soul essence. So how would you define your own form of spirituality? And this is really important because as we experience spirituality in different ways, you know how it feels good to you to experience it. So how would you define your own form of spirituality? And the truth is, maybe if you are asked this question on the spot, you would probably struggle to explain it to others, right? You want people to understand you. You want people to understand where you come from, what are your beliefs. But at the same time, you don't want people to judge you, especially if they know or you tell them that you have a religious background. Right? So if you've been asked on the spot, you would probably struggle to explain it if you're not confident enough, or if you are scared of being judged and you're still on your spiritual closet, you probably struggle to explain it to people. Because how can you explain that, for example, as a Catholic, you believe in God, you go to church, but you also believe in spirit guides, and that you believe in your intuition, and you get home and you do your tarot readings? How do you explain that? Right? But I believe that being spiritual and being religious comes down to find the truth. And that's the key word here. Truth. Finding the truth. Knowing the truth. Experiencing the truth by ourselves. That's what I believe. Either you are religious or you're not religious. It comes down to finding, knowing, and experiencing the truth. According to the author and mystic Timothy Freak, any form of religion is concerned with knowing God, and spirituality is concerned with experiencing God. Knowing God and experiencing God are two different things, because you can absolutely be religious without experiencing God or the faith. Right? And I think the first time that I was publicly judged about this was last year, when I just basically came out to the spiritual closet. Like, my family and friends already knew, but to the world, basically coming out on the internet, even though I touched on a few things, but claiming to the world that this is my business, these are my beliefs, and so on. So last year, I put a post on Instagram. It was actually a very inspirational reel, and I had lots of interaction with that reel. When I was choosing the audio, and I always look for the trending audios, right? But funny enough, that audio was not trending back then. But I felt compelled to use, when I was searching, I felt compelled to use that particular audio because I felt it fit with the content of the reel. And apparently that was a music, and it's a very beautiful song, I must say. A very beautiful song, Christian song, right? But the content of the video was to talk about spirituality. I don't recall very well what I said in the reel, but I still have it on my Instagram. And there was this lady that commented, mocking, with this, like, a tone of mocking, saying, "Do you realize that you used a Christian song for what, for this?" And I said, yes, and I don't see a problem with this. To me, religion and spirituality are very much connected. And then she proceeded with a lot of comments saying how I was not educated in the Bible, that I should read the Bible, that I was not a proper Catholic if I believed in the things that I was saying, that I was worshipping the devil, and so on. And I tried, really, from a place of service and understanding and love, to explain to her why I don't see a difference between being religious and being spiritual, and that I don't feel the need to label myself or to choose myself to be one thing or the other. Because to me, spirituality is the essence of religion. It's a part of it. I don't see a difference. Feeling the beliefs, the finding of the truth, the inner knowing, the trusting, I don't feel it's separate. I feel that being spiritual is the essence of following a religion. But I totally get why so many of us hide this part of ourselves, because we don't want to be judged. We don't want to be in that position that we have to explain ourselves, which I didn't have to. I chose to, because I chose to educate the person. But people that are not open to listen to it, they will not listen to it. It doesn't matter. So religion is connected with rituals, with codes of practice, with rites of passage and transitions through life, such as birth. We celebrate it by having the baptism or the christening. And then the acceptance into the community. We have the Holy Communion, we have the confirmation. And I don't think in here there is so much, but in Portugal, we have other like celebrations, small celebrations throughout our all of those stages in age. We have different celebrations, and we have first Holy Communion, second Holy Communion, which we don't have here, and then we have confirmation. And then the next stage will be marriage, and then obviously death. So religion celebrates or had this kind of rites of transitions that we go through in life, but also has these codes of practice that you are supposed to follow, as in like now we are in Lent. But yeah, basically religion expresses the out shell of spirituality. And as I said before, I believe that you can absolutely be religious and follow a religion and, you know, go to church every week without really experiencing on a deeper level what spirituality is. That's what I believe, right? So spirituality, as I see it, is the inner essence of all religions, but not necessarily with a religion context. So again, you can be spiritual without following a religion, because spirituality is more about going through this journey of awakening to who we are at a soul level, and having this yearning for answers and spiritual truth about profound questions of life. We start asking these questions. What is the meaning of life? Why did my soul chose to be here in this moment? What's my purpose? What's my soul calling? All of these things you not necessarily ask yourself if you are religious, right? That's what I mean. You can be religious without going to this spiritual journey yourself of trying to find the meaning and the truth of life and of your soul essence. However, that's spirituality. That's why I believe it's the essence of being religious, because that's going to the inner world rather just portraying this shell or having this shell that is visible for the outer world, but sometimes it doesn't have any more depth in it. So yeah, spirituality It's this journey of awakening. And that's why, to me, there is no separation. Religion teaches to love one another, to have compassion to our neighbors, our sisters and brothers, to practice forgiveness. And when we go through a spiritual path, that's what we learn as well. But then there is this side of it that we feel quite guilty or ashamed when we realize that we are not pure enough, in a meaning that we realize that we cannot love everyone. We realize that we cannot forgive everyone when we perceive they wrong us. So we start feeling guilty for not being possibly good enough for God. And then we ask for forgiveness. We go to the priests and we do our confessions, hoping that we'll be forgiven, because we become quite scared that these feelings and certain behaviors that we have will mean that we're going to be punished in the afterlife. And that is the truth. And things aside, without judging religions in any way, we all know that the witch hunt started because of the church trying to control people and brainwashing people to believe that those that were perceived to be practicing witchcraft were going to be punished. They needed to be punished on earth, and they were going to hell. They were going to go to hell and be punished after death because they were not pure. They are not following church as the practice of church as they should. So obviously we carry that fear within us, that shame, that guilt with us still today. But spirituality is a journey from fear to love, from darkness to light, from ignorance to understanding, from confusion to meaning, and from being alone to being part of everything. You finally realize that we are part of everything. Nature, the cosmos, the universe. We are all made of the same fabric. But I think the most important thing is that when we practice spirituality and we go in this journey that I believe everyone here in the group is going through, that's why you're here, we are being willing to open our hearts to love, to a love that's all embracing, right? And to a love that is all embracing about our shadows, ourselves. Because that's the most important thing to me, is that we love and accept ourselves. Accept that we are mere soul beings having a human experience, and because of that we're going to make mistakes, Because of that, we're going to let our ego run the show sometimes. Because of that, we are going to have certain behaviors that are not considered pure, but that is okay. Because we are loved no matter what. And because that's part of our soul journey, we understand that having these behaviors, having these beliefs, going through what we go through, it's part of our soul journey, of the lessons that we have to learn, healing our karma. We understand it. We are accepting. We know this is an ongoing process of healing, of being, of remembering. And so there is no reason to have feelings of guilt or shame or fear of the aftermath when you transition to the other world. So through this journey of spiritual awakening, with regular practice, you'll come to a sense of enlightenment, or at least deeper understanding about yourself, about the world around you, and especially about the truth within you. We can be religious and we can be spiritual, absolutely. And we can, knowing that religion normally comes with rules and codes of practice that we are meant or we are expected to follow, even though sometimes it doesn't sit well with us. We know that we have a choice. We can take what resonates with us from the religion that we were brought up or that we believe, and still follow what spirituality teaches. Because spirituality, the spirituality practices that we can, do in our day-to-day life, that help us soul seekers to transform our lives, to guide us towards our inner journey. The soul growth, expansion, evolution, taking into account that we all have different sensitivities. It's not a one-size-fits-all, right? With religion, and sometimes that's why we don't resonate as much, we are expected to follow the rules and do all the things, even though we don't agree with them or it doesn't feel right to us. But with spirituality, there is this understanding that we are all different, that we all have different sensitivities, and that we can practice spirituality the way it feels right to us. We are free to choose the spiritual practice that feels right for us. And how we do that? By following our intuition, by listening to our body. If it doesn't feel right, okay, I'll do another thing. For some people, meditation, they don't like it. They don't enjoy meditation. Other people love meditation and they practice meditation every day. They have to. Is the way they feel connected and grounded. Other people prefer to do oracle or tarot readings. As for others, they don't feel confident doing. So, we can experience with different practices and see what feels right to us, and then do more of it. My recommendation is always that you follow your heart and choose a spiritual practice that excites you, that resonates with you. Because the moment it becomes a chore, the moment that you think you have to do it or that you should do it, you will feel disconnected. You'll become frustrating. You're not going to get what you want, like you're not going to achieve or get the answers that you need or want. And then you're just going to drop everything. And we go through stages, we go through phases as well. Like there are times that we feel more like doing new moon rituals and full moon rituals, and we go through a phase that we like do it every full moon and every new moon because we feel excited about it. We cannot wait to do it. But then we get to a point that, oh, I don't feel like doing it this month. I'm going to try something else, or I'm going to do something else. And then you start, for instance, I don't know, journaling and doing that practice for a set period of time, and then you might move on. So there is this flexibility. There is no expectation that you have to do things. You don't have to do things. Yes, obviously, having a spiritual practice is what will nurture your spirituality. Is what is going to create the space and the silence to go within, to connect with yourself, with your inner voice, with your intuition, and with the magic, and experience the magic, experience the essence of spirituality. But there is no expectation that you have to do in a way or in another way. There is no such thing. Spiritual experiences and, magical moments that we experience when we notice synchronicities, when we decipher a message from our spirit guides, all these magical moments, they almost always happen when we least expect them. Right? It's not when we are doing spiritual practices because we have to, because, we want to get answers and whatever. We don't force that. We don't. They come to us when we least expect it, and when our spirit guides feel like we most need to hear it, or to have that reassurance or that message. So follow your inner guidance. Always. Because you will be led to your inner truth. You don't chase it. You'll be led to it.